Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Welcome to this Ashtanga Yoga beginners class. When you're starting off the Ashtanga Yoga method, an important thing to really understand is the technique of how to work your backbending. Backbending in Ashtanga Yoga is a really deep way to align breath, body, and mind. And if we orient towards the inner work of backbending in the Ashtanga practice, then your body will be safe and you'll be assured that you can do the deeper work of the practice. Let's dive a little bit into Ashtanga Yoga backbending. Our first backbend is upward facing dog. So let's come to the hands and knees, and we're going to build up to upward facing dog with an understanding of spinal extension. So let's take the movement of cat and cow from the Hatha Yoga tradition and just work on that. So let's inhale, extend the spine, your hands are shoulder width apart, the knees hips width apart, and then exhale, round the back. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, extend, so feel each joint of the spine, and then exhale, it's round. Good. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, extend, and then let's stay in the extension and just tune into what you feel. The shoulder blades move down the back and a little bit towards each other. Notice any places where you feel that the spine is not really mobilized. And then pay attention to what's happening in the lower back. Don't be afraid of using the lower back. Draw the navel a little bit in to make sure that the organs of the abdomen are supported. And let's come back to neutral. Now, let's lie down on the stomach, point the feet, and we're going to move into cobra pose. So roll the shoulders again down the back, and now we're rooting into the elbows. One of the most common mistakes that people make when you're doing upward facing dog, working Ashtanga Yoga from a backbending perspective, is that they push down and hunch a little forward and then end up kind of compressing the lower back. So if you feel yourself rounding or pushing your pubic bone into the ground, this might mean that the backbending is not really being articulated in the most efficient pattern. So let's try to find that cat and cow movement again. So if we can feel this position is not where we want to be, but it's that extended spine position. So now draw the navel a little in, start to recruit the erector spinae, which are the long muscles that line the spine. Then we'll move the hands back to where the elbows were, rolling the shoulder blades again back, and then allow the elbows to bend for a moment. Pay attention to the glutes. If we start to squeeze the glutes right now, we may start to compress a little bit the lower back, not forever, just right now. Then we're going to kind of curl the toes a little forward to give ourselves a little forward thrust. And as you press the hands into the ground, let the feet thrust forward. The lower back starts to fold a little bit in. And then we'll lift the rib cage. And now start to use your back muscles to articulate the spine. Your head can remain forward. You can gaze at the nose tip. At some moment, when the lower back muscles start to give you a pivot back, at that moment, the shoulders will counterbalance and your head drops slightly back. And this is our first back bend. At this point, if you feel comfortable, you could activate your glutes just a little bit for a little support, but it's not necessary. Then we curl the toes under and come on down to downward facing dog. And we'll just stay there for a moment, feel your breath, feel the body, feel the mind. All right, let's sink the knees down. I'm gonna turn around, and we're gonna work our Ashtanga Yoga backbending. So now, the most classic backbend is Urdhva Dhanurasana. Now, in Urdhva Dhanurasana, you might know this is bridge pose, so let's talk about the differences. Feet, hips width apart. And now, if we were gonna do bridge, very often we're given the direction in the bridge pose to tuck the tailbone, squeeze the glutes, and pop the hips up. And if you try that right now, you'll feel the glutes get a little tight, but the back is very flat and the abs are firm. If we want to tone the torso, this is a fine movement, but instead, let's actually try to use back bending. So now, try to find the spine. So if you tuck your tailbone, and then we untuck the tailbone like you try to press your sitting bones into the ground and send the lower ribs up, and the shoulder blades press into the ground, the elbows press into the ground. We start to create an arch from the hip joints to the shoulder joints. That arch is the beginning of our back bending. All right, so let's see if we can lift the hips while maintaining this arch. So if you send your knees a little forward and then engage the back muscles, we maintain the arch shape, then interlace the fingers, rolling the shoulder blades a little towards each other. And then, without overdoing it with the legs, start to use your back muscles to lift a little higher. Don't worry about how high you get, just a little higher, and just start to feel that the back muscles begin to lift. So you'll feel a little movement so that the bridge gets a little longer. And then exhale, let's put it down. Okay, we're gonna add in the arms. Let's take the hands underneath the shoulders and start off with the bridge that's articulated, the arch between the hips and the shoulders. And then lift the knees forward, send them forward. That will naturally let the glutes soften and the hips come off the ground. Then roll onto the top of the head, and then we'll draw the elbows in. Make sure the hands are not too close or too wide apart, and then start to articulate the same arch. So we get the feeling of the back muscles engaging. We're not tucking the tailbone. You could even just stay here. However, let's see if we can get the head off the ground by really thinking about the back muscles. Shoulder blades move away from the ears, and then the head lightly comes off the ground as we begin to send the chest out over the hands. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. And then I'd like you to feel the lower back muscles engaging so that we can again articulate that arch feeling. We'll stay for 2 more breaths. Keep your gaze down, shift the weight a little bit forward, and then exhale the head down. Walk your hands a little bit in, drawing the elbows in, and again, find the arch. Inhale, chest over the hands. Try not to widen the feet too much. And then as you bring the chest over the hands, start to again engage the lower back muscles, middle back muscles. So we really distribute the arch through the whole spine. Elbows in towards each other. Shift your weight forward. Head down. 1 more, we'll walk the hands a little bit in, the elbows draw in, and then chest over the hands. It's okay if the heels come off the ground a little bit. Just make sure you shoot them back down on the way up, and then really articulate the back bend through the whole spine. We'll stay for 2. Elbows in, 3, using the back muscles, opening the front body, 4, and 5. Exhale, head down. You might want to walk the hands out, and then all the way down. It's totally normal for your thigh muscles to be burning. Let's draw the knees into the chest. Feel how quickly the back bending work kind of accelerates the heart rate. And then give a big squeeze in from the center, lifting the sacrum off the ground, making sure we release the lower back muscles. All right, that's good. Roll over onto the side, and let's come on back up. So when you think about back bending in the Ashtanga Yoga method, I want you to place your emphasis on the spinal extension and articulating each joint of the spine in that extended position, rather than just doing the shape of the pose. Feel the internal work of what spinal extension is really about. And that way, whether you're doing upward facing dog or Urdhva Dhanurasana or any other back bend in the Ashtanga Yoga method, you'll be able to focus on the deeper work of what the practice is all about. Thanks so much for practicing with me today. If you want to do some more back bends, then I'd love for you to find me over on my online channel, omstars.com, where we go into the full Ashtanga Yoga method. Backbending is a really deep way to go into the subtle experience of the practice. So I hope you enjoyed this short window into the magic of Ashtanga Yoga backbends. Thanks so much for practicing with me, and may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be filled with love.